All right, y'all, get ready to loosen your belt and fire up your appetite, because today on Lone Star Plate, I'm tackling a challenge as big as Texas itself. I tried every Texas BBQ in one day. That's right. I set out on a smoky, saucy, meat-filled marathon to sample the best brisket, ribs, and sausage the Lone Star State has to offer, all in just 24 hours. If you've ever wondered what BBQ heaven looks like, buckle up, because this is one wild, delicious ride. 6 a.m., the BBQ pilgrimage begins. Most people start their day with eggs and toast, but in Texas, the early bird gets the brisket. My journey kicked off before sunrise in Lockhart, known as the BBQ capital of Texas. First stop, Kreutz Market, where the pit masters have been perfecting their craft since 1900. The smoky aroma hit me before I even got out of the car. Inside, I ordered a slice of fatty brisket, a couple of pork ribs, and a link of sausage. Served on butcher paper, no sauce required. The brisket was melt-in-your-mouth tender, with a bark so flavorful it could make you cry. I knew I was in for a long, glorious day. 8 a.m., Black's BBQ, Lockhart. Just down the street, I hit up Black's BBQ, another Lockhart legend. Here, the brisket was equally juicy, but the real surprise was the beef rib, so massive you could use it as a baseball bat. I chased it with a scoop of their famous potato salad and a bite of pecan cobbler. The walls were covered with family photos and BBQ awards, and the pitmaster even came out to chat, sharing stories about the family's secret rub. 2 stops in, and I was already feeling the meat sweats. But there was no turning back. 10 a.m., Smitty's Market, Lockhart. No BBQ crawl in Lockhart is complete without a visit to Smitty's Market, where the pits are open and the walls are stained with decades of smoke. The sausage here had a snap that echoed through the dining hall, and the pork chop was smoky perfection. I washed it down with a cold Big Red, because that's how Texans do it. The old school vibe was strong. No forks, no sauce, just meat and bread and a stack of napkins for the mess. Noon, Franklin Barbecue, Austin. After a scenic drive to Austin, it was time for the Holy Grail, Franklin Barbecue. The line was already around the block, but I made friends with fellow BBQ pilgrims and swapped stories while we waited. Franklin's brisket is legendary and the hype is real. When I finally got my tray, brisket, pulled pork, turkey, and a side of espresso BBQ sauce, it was worth every second. The brisket was so juicy and flavorful, I almost forgot I had 6 more stops to go. The staff was all smiles, and the vibe was electric. Everyone there knew they were tasting something special. 2:30 p.m., Micklethwaite Craft Meats, Austin. Next up, Micklethwaite Craft Meats, a food truck with a cult following. Their jalapeno cheese sausage was the star here, spicy and smoky with just the right amount of kick. The house-made pickles and slaw were a welcome tangy break from all the rich meat. I chatted with the pit crew who take pride in sourcing local ingredients and making everything from scratch, even the bread. The picnic tables under the oak trees made it feel like a backyard gathering. 4 p.m., Snow's BBQ, Lexington. No Texas BBQ tour would be complete without a trip to Snow's BBQ in Lexington, where pitmaster Tootsie Tuminetz has become a legend in her own right. Even late in the afternoon, the brisket was moist and the pork steak was smoky magic. Locals told me stories about lining up before dawn for a taste of Tootsie's handiwork, and after one bite, I understood why. The whole place felt like a family reunion, with regulars hugging the staff and new folks welcomed like old friends. 6 p.m., Louis Muller Barbecue, Taylor. The road led me to Louis Muller Barbecue in Taylor, famous for its peppery bark and smoky, juicy ribs. The beef rib here was another dinosaur-sized masterpiece, and the jalapeno sausage had just enough heat to to wake me up from my BBQ coma. The walls were covered with smoke-stained business cards, a tradition that's been going for decades. Each bite tasted like history. 8 p.m., Pecan Lodge, Dallas. As the sun set, I rolled into Dallas and made a beeline for Pecan Lodge. The burnt ends were caramelized perfection, and their mac and cheese was the comfort food I needed after a day of meat marathon. The line was long, the crowd was hungry, and the atmosphere was pure Texas, lively, loud, and full of BBQ love. The pitmaster even let me peek behind the scenes at the smokers, where racks of ribs sizzled over glowing coals. 10 p.m., Heim Barbecue, Fort Worth. Last stop, Heim Barbecue in Fort Worth, home of the legendary bacon burnt ends. They were sweet, smoky, and so addictive, I almost ordered seconds. I capped off the night with a slice of banana pudding and a satisfied, smoky grin. The staff cheered when I told them about my journey, and a couple of locals high-fived me for making it this far. The aftermath, let's be real. By the end of the day, I was stuffed, happy, and maybe a little delirious from all the meat. My shirt smelled like oak smoke, my hands were stained with BBQ sauce, and my heart was full of Texas pride. What did I learn? Every pit has its own style, every town has its own flavor, and no two briskets are ever the same. But the spirit of Texas BBQ, community, tradition, and pure, unfiltered joy runs through every bite. So, would I do it again? Ask me after my next nap. Have you tried a Texas BBQ crawl? Got a favorite spot I missed? Drop your pics in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Texas-sized adventures. Until next time, keep your appetite big, your napkins handy, and your spirit Texas strong. This is Lone Star Plate, signing off and dreaming of brisket